Family, thank you for joining me here at the American News Network with Chris Sanders. So, Thursday represented the 70-year anniversary of the end of the war between North Korea, South Korea, and our intervention over there where we were trying to do some justice. My dad was just a young man participating in that nonsense back then. But they just did a parade. I want you to see it behind me. And it was with Russia, with the Russian generals. Who do you think their target is? America? Their target is the United States, Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan. And as such, newsflash, your budget out there in the Ukraine has just been cut by 50%. Also, actions speak louder than words. We've seen all this money go overseas. Do you think that the American people are stupid? And I'm talking to the U.S. media. You want to defend this guy who I call Jackwagon Joe. You want to say that we have no standpoint in the fact that we say that our presidency was stolen. Okay. Well, even if it wasn't stolen, then Joe Biden's actions would speak louder than words that he cares about America. But the fact is, all we have seen is him withdraw like a bozo out of Afghanistan and create treason and fund the Taliban, $80 to $85 billion in 20 years of war buildup. The other day, he gives all of our strategic information to Mali, which is right next door to Niger. Okay? And by the way, that's why they pulled away from us, because everybody, even our allies, are saying we're not even safe having America as an ally because they're giving away all of our key positions. I think you should know about that. So we're getting kicked out of Mali and Niger, all of Africa. Putin is the hero there because his actions are speaking louder than words. He's giving them food, grain, guns, faith. And everybody's not a part of this Biden economics and this trans agenda. But I want to show you about the actions. I want to drive this home, and as such, this is what fires everybody in America. You see, the beginning of the Constitution in America, it reads this, and this is the first sentence. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Every time you see a man living in a tent, I want you to ask, where is his general welfare? Where is his posterity? And until all of our vets are off the streets, I don't want to see one foreigner come across our border until we've taken care of everybody here. We want to say, well, what about their borders? The Bible has an answer for this. It says, why are you so concerned about the splinter that's in your brother's eye when there's a plank in your own eye? Why are we so concerned about the border over there in the Ukraine when our Mexican border is enabling the cartel to basically rampantly put drugs up here? And the victims are our children. If you haven't seen Sound of Freedom, you should, because everybody out there in Hollywood is some sort of pedophile. You don't have to ask me. You can ask Mel Gibson about it, Mark Wahlberg. There's a lot of people that don't want to work with people that are like that, and as such, that town has destroyed itself because the actions of our government speak louder than words. Now, Screen Actors Guild are on a strike, but I got a flyer, and there's all these unopposed election positions, and they were opposed. The thing is even the Screen Actors Guild, and I'm calling you out, you have a sham phony election set up because there were other candidates. And then you sit those candidates later on, oh, you didn't have the bylaw requirements of your people that you needed. Don't you think you should have said that in advance to have a fair election? And now everybody's on strike. Well, I'll tell you, a lot of those writers are from other countries, and they've been writing stuff that American people really just don't care to hear. It's a bunch of nonsense. So, how does California treat Californians? Well, I'm telling you, it's been pretty shocking. This is California right now, and every day. What if I was to tell you there's this one road that's got over 500 RVs on it, and this is how you live if you're in California. So when you have every single city in California looking like this from here all the way to Maine, where you have these homeless encampments and drug addicts, how are we supposed to take on countries, okay, that have had record-breaking profits? And I'm going to tell you, and this is straight on out, the Ukraine's going to be history, complete history. And that's just a fact. Okay. Here we go here. So this is 8 days ago, and I wanted you to see this. North Korea is really ramping it up, and they're ramping it up for us, for Japan. And Japan is basically ramping up a lot of stuff too. They're making the Shahed drone. But I want you to look at these countries. Okay, we can say how poor they are, but their streets are looking mighty different. And they're united, and they all have guns, and they all have weapons, and they're all saying that they want to kill us here in the United States. And truthfully, they don't want to kill us. They want to kill Jackwagon Joe and 535 evil politicians that have made their profit purely off of just killing people. If it's not our big pharmacy, it's our military-industrial complex. And this is the only way in which countries are actually trying to defend themselves. Putin, just hear a message from me and Trump. If you do take them out, please let us start over. I don't see us being able to take on any country because, like I said, we are homeless from the East Coast to the North Coast, from the north to the south. This is another picture, and this is kind of what amped me up. And when Biden got into office, they told all the vets at the VA in Westwood that they had to take the shot or they'd be kicked out on the streets. And as such, well, they were kicked out on the streets. Several of them made it to Texas, Oklahoma, and Hawaii, and yours truly is feeding them, taking care of them, and that shouldn't be my job. This is how the United States of America takes care of their veterans under Jackwagon Joe. They don't get to go to any hospital of their choice. Most of them don't get housing. Now, this is for the people that don't claim complete disability. But this is how we treat our vets while we're letting millions of people over the border. Don't you think, now I'm going to read this again, because sometimes people need a picture so that the words sink home. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare. Let's stop right there. This is how we're promoting the general welfare amongst our veterans, who, it's not just the fact that a lot of these guys saw stuff. It's the fact that a lot of these guys' best friends never made it past 20. And they can't either. And this is how we're treating them. And we can do better than this, but we're not. And actions speak louder than words. You don't need to tell us that the election was stolen. We can see it through the actions of how you're treating us after you've held your office. Jackwagon Joe. See, again, under Trump, we could go to any doctor we wanted to. Under Biden, take the shot, or you live in a tent and we're not helping you out. While Putin gives his guys a house and a home and their wives. I wish our veterans and their wives got houses and homes. Where's the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity? You see, what I'm saying is just by seeing this behind me, you've invalidated the first sentence that gives the entire Constitution of the United States of America its power. And you're not enforcing our posterity or our general welfare, and as such, you're all in a dereliction of duty. You should all be fired, period. They think that while they're going after President Trump, that we don't see that. So here's another picture. Remember, if we weren't investing so much in the Ukraine, our government could invest in tiny homes or sustainable homes. This tornado here is what represents America, and that tornado right there is the Biden administration cruising through America. And I want this picture to go home with you. This is President Biden and how he's taking care of our country. Now, this was a year ago, and he didn't show up because he was more interested in robbing us. No kidding. But see, he didn't have the money to take care of us here at home. The government didn't have, like I said, and even me, I've got these ideas where our government should be standing ready with homes prefabricated with solar, wind on them already, so that they can produce their own water and energy off-grid. And this is a simple solution that the government could do, but it's not war-based. It's based off peace. But see, this is the Biden administration. It's just a tornado. It's going through, it's taking our money, it's going up into the air. Where was Biden? Where was this administration here? It was nowhere to be found. Actions speak louder than words. This is why all of the journalists out there need to go to jail. You see, you're not telling the truth. You're not being journalists. Our government is more concerned with another country, another border, while our border is in shambles. We are so concerned about the splinter in our brother's eye when we have a plank in our eye. Well, that's just because it's smokescreen and lies. And I want you to see that as they attack our president, so we don't have to be told that the election was stolen. We see it through your actions. Okay? So the Ukrainians have been fleeing, and their Ukrainian drone command that was out there was blown up 5 hours ago. And that's what's going to happen. I'm going to guess that since Zelensky's gone on his own attack, that I'm going to give him this month to live. And he's going to be gone. And again, this war is going to get real serious. France, you don't like Macron. We don't like Macron either. He's a phony. And Africa's kicking you out because he's just as phony as Jackwagon Joe, just as phony as Justin Trudeau, just as phony as all these beta males that are actually, they've all been put there by China. Big news just happened. What's the big news? Imran Khan, the actual president of Pakistan, has been arrested, and he's going to be doing 3 years in jail. That's pretty big news, don't you think so? People might say, well, wait a second. Really? Like, yeah. He has been arrested. And what I'm telling you is this is the way China and Soros and Gates, they're all working together, all these bought-out pansies. So we got Bolsonaro, he's ineligible to run again in Brazil because of a legal challenge. Then we have Imran Khan here thrown in jail because why? Well, it's Chinese Soros intervention in elections. We can't let this happen because the result is world war. This man behind me is the President Trump of Pakistan. If you're from Pakistan, you can chime in. But the reason why the world didn't mind Imran Khan is because, like President Trump, he put his country first. And the people of Pakistan know that. So they got a Chinese patsy in there just like we do. China's doing the same thing to Brazil. China is our enemy. And even today, they're proving it more. See, the alliance between Russia and China is not as great as you think it is at all. In fact, China and Russia today are in a conflict, and they're in a conflict over borders. So, and let me compare the two leaders. Putin allows Christianity, Islam, any religion, upholds it, and upholds their rights. Xi Jinping does not allow any religion. He's the definition of the Antichrist. The country's been doing H1N1 SARS. They've been stealing every patent. We don't hear of the Russians always stealing our patents and copying things, do we? No, we always hear of China doing it. It's this culprit right here. It's not the Chinese people I don't like. It's this guy. He's a dictator. Nobody in China likes him either. That's why they're all using Bitcoin to flood over here. If they would just have a democracy, then they wouldn't be controlled like this. And today, Putin and Xi Jinping are getting into it. Modi in China, but everybody, there's a culprit over there, and the name is Xi Jinping. And it's another war that doesn't concern us. You ever been to the Hotel Roosevelt out there in New York? Well, I have. And this is it yesterday. These are all migrants. To me, it looks like a hidden military. They're all men. A lot of them are from Africa. They're all men. No women with children. We've let a hidden military into our country, and this is the part of it that's migrated up to New York. There's a big chunk of them in Los Angeles. And again, it's the dereliction of duty. Where's the posterity for our homeless people? You're just going to add more to that population? Most of these people can't even speak English. Why are they here? How are they going to get a job and work? So you're asking all of us to just pay their general welfare for the rest of our lives? That doesn't work for me. Does it work for you? Where's the general welfare of Americans? Where is the posterity for Americans? See, this liberal wants us to feel sorry for him. The New York mayor wants to feel sorry for him, and I could give a rat's about these foreigners. Go back to your own country. Oh, but these black people, blah, blah, blah. We got American blacks. Oh, but these Mexican people, blah, blah, blah. We got American Mexicans. Oh, but these Asian people, blah, blah, blah. We have American Asian people. Where is their posterity? Stop filling us full of this nonsense. Until we take care of every American that is off the street that was born here, we got to close the doors. You see, France, look at this idiot behind me saying we got to help these people out. Sir, what about the homeless New York people that you have? Have you helped them out? The answer is no. Actions speak louder than words. We don't need to hear your political nonsense. It makes us sick. And we're a tinderbox ready to explode. And I just wanted you to see it because from the East Coast to the West Coast, we got governors and mayors, and they're all so concerned about these foreigners. And I showed you all those veterans out there in tents, but they're not talking about them at all, are they? And they let the borders open, and fentanyls turned everybody into a drug addict. Child trafficking is out of control. That's what Sound of Freedom is like. And isn't it wild how so many people have turned up the heat at movie theaters or made it to where people couldn't watch those shows because they're all trying to protect themselves in what they are fundamentally guilty of. They're child predators, and we need to protect our children and grandchildren. You need to identify it and separate it like a wound, like a cancer, and get it out. And we got it right now in the White House. Americans, I think I stand for all of us. We are sick of the Ukraine. We are sick of Afghanistan. We are sick of us fighting wars. You're making us a war country when we're not. We're a nation of every country. If anything, we'd love to feed everybody and give everybody clean water, and we have that technology. Go to worldsnest.com, sustainableangels.com. You can see it. Fresh water's not the answer unless you talk to a politician. Neither is energy unless you talk to a politician. I am sick of Zelensky. I'm sick of his actions. I'm sick of him lying. He lied about Putin on the nuclear thing, and that pissed me off. Because these are the lies that will start a nuclear war. That's why. We have lost all of Africa. 41 countries dropped the dollar and went to a different standard. Countries like Brazil, Argentina, all of South America and Mexico, they've left us under not the leadership, the lack of leadership of Joe Biden. The world sees it. I'm asking you, citizens of America, why are we putting up with it? The whole world has left us. Yeah, 41 countries said we're not taking the dollar anymore. We're taking the BRICS currency. NATO knows about this. Also, here's a news flash. Because everybody's so woke over there in Europe, they can't even find a military ready to take on Putin. And that's probably good advice because your ass is just going to get immediately killed. What do you think they've been doing the whole time but fighting a war? You guys are fresh. You're out of shape. You're going to get murdered. That's right. You don't have a leader. Everybody that's a general that even we have right now, some affirmative action hire that's wearing their basic training medals while they're talking on television. But to anybody that's actually been there, we see that stuff. And we say, why is this person talking to us? It's kind of like the dirty Q-tip that we have, Kier John Pierre, who is a gay immigrant. But somehow she's supposed to tell us how American parents are supposed to be, how we're supposed to take care of our kids. Never seen something so ridiculous in my entire life. I want you to see, so you saw the parade that was happening in North Korea. I told you how Russia got 30 new warships, maybe 15 new submarines, all nuclear powered. Yeah. They are celebrating. They are not broke. Putin's just out there talking to people. Don't think he's not extremely popular. Their economy has tripled. People aren't homeless on the streets. You see this stuff? Doesn't look like America, does it? Because we can't have a parade anywhere and not see the squander in the background. I don't care where you set it up. Camp Pendleton, do it anywhere you want to, and you will see tents in the background. Does that sound like a nation ready to fight these ones? You see how North Korea, Russia, they're looking clean, they're looking sharp. No kidding. Their enemy is us. No kidding. How are we looking? And you got Rishi Sunak talking a whole bunch of, like he's a tough guy. You don't even have the followers I have on this show. Yeah. To the 260 million people that are watching me on TikTok right now, God bless you. Send this message out, and I know this government fears that we could basically put the truth out there right now. To all my friends and family on Facebook, God bless you and your families. And to all the bikers out there in Sturgis, as we ride together this week, there's not a one person I've met, not a president, no one, that has endorsed this administration. So we're looking at 550,000 people that are ready to take this country back, and I want to ask you, are you one of them? Russia is not our enemy. Jackwagon Joe in China is, with George Soros and Gates. These people want to control us and what we see and what we watch. Also, we're taking over radio stations and TV stations. Mike Lindell is going to have another summit on the 16th and 17th. I plan on filming it. And we shall see more information from various Department of Defense colonels. And don't forget, like I wanted to show you, last year we showed you how Smartmatic and Dominion had onboard chipsets that we exposed that swung the vote. So there's many reasons why we know the vote was stolen. And so Chuck Todd, all you phony journalists, which you are, You're reading a George Soros script and y'all need to go to prison. That's right. That's my opinion. Every single news media person that says Mr. Trump and that backs these indictments or this arrest, you are part of the conspiracy to take over the existing president, because the president that you claim is the president hasn't spent $1 on America. All he's been is a tornado cruising through our country while John Kerry and him have been lining their pocketbooks and diverting us in this LGBTQ LMNOP trans agenda while they put money with Pelosi in the Ukraine and Iran and everywhere else while we're fighting each other here at home. No kidding. What do you think Roe versus Wade was? All they're saying is let's get them mad about something so that they don't see the crimes we're actually committing, which is extortion and money laundering. Roe versus Wade, we didn't have a problem with that for, no kidding, I hate to say it, since it happened. So now what do? Is let's bring up gay issues, let's bring up abortion issues, let's bring up human rights issues. Let's make it so bad out on the streets they don't know what to say. Let's open up our borders so that there's so many issues, there's not a country anymore. And that's what we're looking at today. We have a government that lies to us. They're lying about our borders. They're lying about Russia. They lied about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. They lied to us about 9/11. They lied to us about the Oklahoma City bombing just to cover up for Clinton. Is there anything they don't lie about? Or are these just speculations by the majority here in the United States of America? What you saw behind me, and I didn't talk about it, was the fact that India has sent their third moon mission up. And that's pretty interesting news. Also in Germany, there's major companies that are supporting Putin more than the United States of America. So NATO nations and firms, they're rejecting the anti-stuff. So did Italy. I'm assuming, like I called it a few months, we're going to lose Italy. France is going to lose itself. The United Kingdom actually needs to vote for somebody that they believe in. And that's if you don't let the media steal it, because that's what we let our media do. So these aren't journalists that we have here in America. That's why everybody watches me. We hear them when they constantly say, Mr. Trump is facing an indictment, while President Obama and President Carter, blah, 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 but Mr. Trump withheld documents. At the same time, we hear the other story. Joe Biden accidentally sent all of our documents to Mali. So the American public says, what's worse? Trump holding on to documents, or Joe Biden just literally giving them to the enemy? Well, it was a no-brainer for Africa. Okay, Africa saw that, and that's why we lost Africa, because Joe Biden sold us out. So, I'm going to tell you some other stuff. So we're going to lose Italy. We're going to lose Germany. And Viktor Orban, if we don't have Trump, we've lost Hungary. No kidding. BS is BS. And there's nothing that's truthful coming from Jackwagon Joe. We have a president. His name is Donald Trump. He treated us like we were people. He saw the war that was building up over there in North Korea, and instead of doing what Barack Hussein Obama and Joe Biden wanted to do, see, they wanted to start this world war, but what did he do? Well, men like him and Dennis Rodman went over there, and they discovered the truth and made peace happen. See, now, if it was me, I'd make Dennis Rodman the U.S. ambassador to North Korea. I'd hold blood sport and kumites that he likes doing. But see, the thing they don't like about Rodman, even when he was on the Communist News Network, is he's wearing this beautiful hat that says, "Make America Great Again." So Dennis Rodman, actually, he's a bird enthusiast. He played for the Dallas Mavericks, and as such, he did Rodman Contractors in North Texas. A lot of people don't know what a successful contractor he is, and I even shot his wedding with him and Carmen Electra, so even we go back as friends. And I'm going to say something. Those two men, Donald Trump and Dennis Rodman, ended a war with peace, love, handshakes, and charisma. All compliments of Jesus Christ. No kidding. And through peace and love, we win. And instead we have people, crooked people like Hillary Clinton and all these just bought out phony people. But America sees it. Don't you see it? So I've showed you how Korea is having a parade against us. Russia's having a parade against us. Iran is having a parade against us. Russia's now got all of Africa in an alliance while we are basically being bombarded with homeless people. That's right. Sweden burned the Quran, and what that is going to do is it's going to unite the Arab Empire and all their migrants to just completely burn down their entire country. That's the way in which I'm going to see it, but I'm going to show you something else, and don't think that they're all bad here. But what you're seeing behind me are the people of Niger coming together as Christians and Muslims to pray for peace. And they're saying the only way that they can see them doing that is by kicking France and the United States out. What did Putin do? Putin gave them food. He saw that there was an invasion from another country, and they were coming in killing citizens, so he armed the government so that those would stop. He sent Wagner down there to end the violence, and now there's peace. But you didn't know that, did you? We don't ever hear the good works. So there they are. These are the citizens, and they're all speaking French, and they now have peace as of today. And they're completely fine just with having Russia down there, without U.S. involvement and French involvement, and I thought that we should know that. See, Barack Hussein Obama, he was the Manchurian candidate. He's not even a man. Definitely not an American black man. No, he's a gay guy that's into bisexuals, and his wife, in my opinion, is a man named Big Mike. And everybody knows it. Everybody in Africa knows it, so why don't you? The reason why they know it is because Malik Obama, Obama's brother, said, yeah, my brother's gay and his wife is a man. And they're very public about it, and Africa kicked us out on this trans agenda. So this trans agenda has really cost us all of the nations that believe in God or Allah, even the ones that are Hindu and Buddhists. No one wants it, so we've lost the world. And that's the news for today. I want you to get behind President Trump because he's all that we got. It's not that I don't think, if you want to know about DeSantis, he's too young. He's never made millions of dollars, and follow his money trail, and that makes me question him. People like Pence need to be thrown in prison because he led the insurrection by validating a fraud. Nancy Pelosi obviously needs to go to prison for treason and fraud. And we need to take our country back. We're not idiots in the United States of America, and our politicians' actions speak louder than words. They think that we're fools. They think that they can fool countries like Niger and Mali and all these small countries, or even Taiwan. I'll use Taiwan as an example. No, because this is the United States of America, you jackwagons, and there are Americans everywhere. There are Americans in Mali, there's Americans in Niger, there's Americans in Kenya, and those lies get back to us, and then a guy like me tells everybody about it. Unfortunately, you're not going to hear it from ABC, CBS, NBC, or CNN, but that's why I'm saying they all need to go to jail and prison for conspiracy to take over the United States government with United States appropriated funds. We can use this USC section 18602 not just for the prosecutor, but I suggest members of Congress use it on all members of Congress that are calling Mr. Trump on the news. Because it's not Mr. Trump, it's President Trump. What they're doing is they're brainwashing the American public in this conspiracy to validate a fraudulent government. That's my spin. We need to prosecute, and the reason why we know is because the evidence is in every tent that we see and in every family that we see that's now living in a car. It breaks our heart that our government thinks that some war in the Ukraine is more important than us. And I ask you, where is our posterity? And I ask you, where is our general welfare for Americans that are citizens? That part of the Constitution has not been changed. And as such, we have a dereliction in duty, a dereliction of duty. And every senator and every congressman is guilty of it. My name is Chris Sanders, and these are just my opinions here at the American News Network. Make sure you have a beautiful day, because if you throw all politics aside, it's just a wonderful place to be if you tell somebody that you love them. Amen, and God bless.